Hey friends, Nancy Ruby here. Nancy Sophia Ruby these days, actually. I am here to share something with you called hip replacement recovery. So I have been kind of ghosting everyone over the past, at least since May and pretty much most of this year. And there's a good reason for that. When you're living in pain, it's very debilitating, even if you're not admitting that to yourself. And I think that's what I was going through. I was doing the best I could to deal with a limitation in my range of motion in my right hip joint, and also a lot of disrupted sleep due to sharp pain. And if any of you have ever had this hip problem, arthritis in the hip, bone spurs in the hip, you know what it feels like. It's like an ice pick being stabbed into your groin while there's a knife in your ass being turned. It's not a good feeling, and it's exhausting. And then there's those times when you feel no pain at all. And so then I would really highlight those times of my life and recognize I'm not in pain right now, and really hold on to my positive attitude. I also found that I was really kind of hiding my experience of pain and suffering and limitation because it was really hard for me to identify with that, because all of my life, well, at least 40 years out of 64, I have been working on preventative care and how to take care of ourselves, how to move properly, how to feed ourselves well, how to exercise at the right amount. And all of those things that have to do with preventing this type of situation. And yet, our human bodies do wear out. And I can trace this problem, this lack of movement, this cause of arthritis, all the way back to maybe a 7-year-old horseback riding incident. It wasn't even riding very much. But anyways, I had an accident where my pelvis got turned at an angle. Subtly, of course. No one checked these things then. But over the years of time, with that pelvis unbalanced, which I'd say probably most people's pelvis is imbalanced for one reason or another, the joints don't wear right. Or as one of my surgeon doctors suggested, is that I overworked that joint through all the hiking I did, being a professional hiking guide for several years, and wearing a large pack on my back, that the bone itself just grew to be stronger. It just didn't grow in the right way. So if any of you are dealing with hip discomfort of any kind, especially a pain in the groin, which is the first sign, I thought I'd do, now that I'm ready to come back out in the world and talk about this, because I'm on the other side. I had hip replacement recently, and I'm now in the very, very beginning of rehabilitation. And you have to go so slow, and you have to be so careful, and you have to be so patient and extremely humble. So I'm coming to you in my humbleness to help, again, support any of you that might be dealing with this as well, because I am fascinated by the human body. And I'll tell you, it's not so much the situation within my own body, but the entire protocol that you have to go through in order to recognize your symptoms, recognize the limitations, get some diagnoses, find out what your options are, and then go into the medical matrix of getting all the ducks in a row to get the paperwork and this person referring that person, and be your own best advocate. So it's a whole nother story, but I'm going to share it because I'm hoping that I can support any of you that come into the same scenario. Believe me, after all these years of talking about preventing hip replacement, here I am. I'm now one of the many people, but that's okay, because I'm also thankful that we have this opportunity and this really miraculous surgery that's quite simple and very successful to help to counterbalance the ills of aging. So anyways, stick with me. I'm going to start out with my rehab practices, and I'll just do some short little videos here and there over time, see what I can share, see if I can help you. And please feel free to write me, ask questions, let me know how you're doing, and let's support each other for living our best life. Namaste.